loved duck hunting, which they did on the side, but it was not the main way to get into the Fennett gang. On Saturday night or Friday night, Shimmy met at Wink's to give the money to Frank Fennett. Gertrude, he said, Shimmy Shimoli said, as he approached Frank Fennett's 57 Chevy, which was lowered with chrome wheels, rolled and pleated interior, and a vibrasonic tape deck in full orchestration. Gertrude, he repeated, I've got the booze for you. All of the youths located in the back and front seat of the cars did not move a muscle. They knew that across the street was Kenny Reed, who frequently parked in the UCA parking lot. He would be watching carefully to see anything that might be a problem and looking for a 502 in Shimoli. So Shimoli would have to be very careful as he secreted the package into the back seat of the boys, who then left and headed on their way out the Alhambra Valley. Fennett had given him $10, and Crazy Lilo had grabbed the cigars. The boys always loved cigars. Out they went. Crazy Lilo was a 2-beer man. He'd get a buzz on with 2 beers and then coast the rest of the evening. That's why he liked the Crooks the best. He loved their smoke and flavor. Frank Fennett didn't mind the boys having a beer on the way up, for in those days it was a rite of passage. No one realized how actually dangerous it would be. That would come through further education later on, and they would all get the picture. Frank Fennett's group had this meeting down to a science. It was a bonding experience. They would just go out into the valley and turn on the radio and listen. They loved the straightaways of the valleys. The drifters were on the radio as they came to the tee. Frank Fennett told everyone to be quiet. He wanted to listen. He wanted no talking as the drifters continued with their song. There goes my baby. You know the song. They kept these moments and they loved them. They would head out to the road and go up to the park and park their car and wait on Channel 91 KEWB, the oldie station. And sure enough, you know what came on when Casey Camison came on. Now all you wild guys out there, I've got one of the all-time favorites for you, the crystallization of the moment. Yes, Benny King's Stand By Me. Crazy Lilo almost went crazy. Yes, indeed. But I want to remember Diablo Valley College. It gave me a start, sure helped me. I'd been behind the 8-ball football-wise at Alhambra, but junior college was the answer. The league we played in was wide open. Its openness included all races, which meant the best running backs were black. We had O.J. Simpson to contend with, MacArthur Lane, Travis Williams, and our own Al.T. Taylor was as great as anybody except O.J. They were all pros in waiting. The coaches at DVC were friendly and fun. The staff knew my name and put me on their list of favorites, which meant they knew my dad and cut me some slack. The whole place had a Martinez feel. From the top to the bottom, the school was easygoing. Oregon State was in my dream, but hard work was along the way. Terry, my older brother, and I went to the Concord Health Club on Grant Street in Concord and worked out hard. Kokiko was there in his prime. So too were George and Earl. Confidence came with intense working out. It was male bonding at a very high level. Tommy Thomas, Ray, and Pancho Perez. I could go on and why. Soon enough, I became the night manager there, and it stayed that way until we left for our dreams in Oregon. It has been a great honor for me to live amongst fishing people. They have set the tone of my life. They were and still are the great opera of my life. I have studied them up close and from afar. They're always the same, but with uniqueness which is so human and divine. I say divine because so many of them were saints. Whether it was fishermen themselves or better yet their wives who ran the houses, worked at the cannery, and mended the nets on Saturday afternoon. I saw them out there along the creek singing and waving their arms with big heavy nets in between. They would stretch and relax, all the time checking the mesh to make sure the holes got filled. Then there were the nephews, nieces, sons, daughters who took care of mom and dad or nana and nana. They give their lives to the care of their family and their parents. We got to know them when they'd come out of the house. They were something to behold. Then there were the legends. Stories abounded in the old neighborhood. Stories out of the Bible, or at least something of that type of proportion. It was all in art form. One big opera with stars all over it. Because you know as well as I do that Martinez is an opera. One quick one. I ran with the Millers. Look it up. We started at the Boys Club. Nino ran with his voice and forearms. They loved Nino and gave him no lip. Nino didn't take lip, he gave it. The Millers were natural leaders, and Prentice, the oldest, was a great talker. He and I got along famously, and he worked me into his group, which he headed because of his age, sense of humor, and leadership. His nickname was Bubba. Bubba was a character of the highest order. His best buddy was Ole. Ole grew up on shuffleboard and beer. He and Bubba were great friends. The action was sports, baseball in the summer, morning, noon, and night, football in the fall, baseball in between. Basketball was the best at the old boys club. We'd have games that would last a week, mostly at night. We'd play after dinner and clobber one another on a court half as wide and half as long as normal. That's what made it special. But that's also why I struggled with grades. My mother used to say, too much sports. That's enough for tonight. Martinez Life. I hope you enjoy the writings. We've been working on them for 20 years. That's just some of them. And I think there's better ones out there. Thank you very much. Next time we'll have a guest. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, and thanks to Comcast for the work they did at St. Catherine's Grade School and the other schools. Comcast is a good company, the best company to own this public access station that we use in a long time. Later.